Good morning, traders. I'm Dennis Dick.
And I'm Joel L. Connon. Welcome to Friday's edition of Pre-Market Info.
Jobs, jobs, and more jobs. We're going to get those numbers in about 14 minutes here. We'll try to preview the market ahead of those numbers, and we'll obviously carry the numbers for you when they break as well. Joel, we are trading up on the E-mini about 5.5 points here. 16.59 a quarter, low 16.48 and a half. We just started popping on the Fed. Charlie Evan comments. What are you saying over there?
Quiet day yesterday. Had about an 8 point range yesterday. That 16.50 low. If you were bidding that early this morning or late last night, you could have got it as the market traded down to 16.48.50. So there's your bogey major support 16.50. We are trading at Thursday's high, which was 16.58 and a quarter, trading right there right now. Really, Dennis, do not see any major resistance here for another 10 handles
Whoa.
up to the 1667. I mean, that's just what the chart's saying, Dennis. I'm not making this stuff up. 8-day high, 1667.50. So if you've been sitting on some longs here and you get a chance to lighten up, that would be a level to take a look at.
Charlie Evans just breaking about around 8 o'clock there says he sees, that's the Fed president, says sees QE taper later this year, but here's the big one, sees the first Fed funds rate increase not until late 2015. So we are talking a long ways away for before they probably start raising actual rates. So I think the market did like those comments, and we were trading up about a buck. We popped about 3 or 4 handles on those Fed comments. Obviously, the big driver today is going to be the jobs number at 8:30. They'll get scared if the jobs are good. They'll be scared, oh, taper's going to come too soon. If the jobs are bad, then I don't know. Probably rallies either way. Who knows? Joel, let's just move on quickly to cover a few of the stocks in the S&P ahead of the jobs number here. Apple, for instance, it just will not get away from this $500 level. Like we've been saying pretty much every show for the last 2 weeks, every time it breaks away from 500, it gets sucked right back to it. And again here this morning, closed 5 points off of it, but is now getting sucked back up to the $500 level here in the pre-market once again.
Right. We have popped up here in the pre-market. Apple trading up smartly here, $3.23. Let's take a look at the pre-market high, close to that $500 level, Dennis. But what I'm still really keeping an eye on here in Apple, for you Apple bulls out there, I know there's a lot of you, 502.24 was the high that you had on Wednesday. And that coincides with the high that you had at 502.51 on August 27th. So you clear that 502.50 level, and we could go back and challenge the highs of the move. I believe we're at 513.74.
This Apple chart, just interesting. It broke over 500, and then for 7 days, 500 kind of acted like support. Then it broke down through 500, and for 7 days here, 500 is kind of acting like resistance. So it's a big battle between the bulls and the bears on this stock right now. Maybe the jobs number will push the stock one way or another, but it just can't seem to get away from 500. The march continues in a lot of stocks here. It seems like once momentum starts, it just continues to get going. Google has had momentum for 3 days here, bottomed out in that 847 area, marched up, and is now trading up over 880. So in 3 days, we've rallied 30 points here on the Goog. What do you think is going to be happening here today?
It is approaching a little bit of resistance here. You're trading up in the pre-market. You've made a high in the pre-market above that 880 level. You've gotten to 880.75. But if you go to the dailies here, you go back a little bit. You had a high at 880.23 on August 14th. So we'll keep an eye on that level. And kind of kicking myself here. We were talking about this 850 level last week and how it just gave you really 4 days to buy it under 850, and contemplated putting a strangle on there, the 840 puts and the 860 calls, and only put on the 840 puts.
Oh no!
Got out of,
yeah, went the wrong
side. Yeah, I guessed wrong, and I got out right away. It was a small loss, but I just thought, coming down there so many times.
Maybe
so
the fourth time's the charm, and the fourth time was the bounce.
kicking myself. That's one time paying the premium on the strangle would have worked.
Couple stocks here that continue to march and continue to break out. Let's go to Facebook right now. The stock will just not slow down. It's getting a lift here this morning. SunTrust raising their price target from $40 up to $55. Any excuse to buy this thing, though. The market just comes in and buys it. It's up another 51 cents here this morning, trading at 43.17, which is a new 52-week high. If you're considering that 45 as a high, as the all-time high, then obviously we're still bucking 60 away from where we were on that IPO day, but it was up there for just that split second. Some people had their prices adjusted. It was all a mess, obviously, but stock is marching right now. You just can't deny that.
Yeah, we got up to 43.40 in the pre-market. We'll call that the all-time high based on the data that we have. Pulling back from yesterday, you broke out of that 42.26 level, closed near the high of the day. I guess if you're going to try and play this on the short side, you're looking at support anywhere near yesterday's high, 42.76, and the close, 42.66. Should be your support levels. If you're looking for a target on this on the upside, I guess it'd be better just to put a sell stop in and let the market take you out on the downside.
Yeah, because it keeps marching. If you're playing it that way, you probably haven't been stopped out yet since the stock actually had the good earnings report and broke above 35. Netflix continues to march here too. The assault on 300 is still in play here. It's up again yesterday, kind of breaking out. I wonder if that 300 starts to become like a magnet now. It did get up. What was the high? 298.93. So a buck 7 off that $300 level.
Yep, it's creeping up there. We go longer term. That stock did get over 300 back in July of 2011. 304.79 was the all-time high on that. Only 10 points away, so the stock probably won't go down until Icon discloses he's selling some.
Yeah, Icon. Yeah, everything Icon does right, Ackman does wrong. Go to J.C. Penney and you can see obviously Ackman sells it down there in the 12 handle, and 3 days, 4 days later, the stock's over 14. So the fade Ackman trade continues to work. The go with Icon trade continues to work. So, but anyways, J.C. Penney, 100,000 shares trade already here this morning. It's up another 13 cents. It's a good March for J.C. Penney. 3-day March. The hedgies obviously disclosed that they were buying it all from Ackman, basically down there in the 12 handle. And since that disclosure 3 days ago, the stock is popped here. Nice $1.50.
Yeah, I was a little bit leery of that move, so can't take credit for anything on that. 14.59 is what you hit in the pre-market, so that's a level to look at. The dailies paint an interesting picture here too, because this is the third time up to this level. Had a 14.42 high in August. We're shy of that level, 14.39 on August 20th, and then yesterday you hit 14.52, bumping up against there in the pre-market. So if you could clear that, your JCPenney bulls here could be looking for the $15 level, 14.92 high on August 2nd.
Yeah, I feel like the momentum has swung here in JCPenney. We saw it back in the day in Hewlett Packard and Best Buy when it swung back down when those stocks were around $12. Not saying the stock's going to continue to run to $20 or $25 or anything like that, but the momentum has swung and the shorts are scrambling and the bulls are taking a little bit of charge here on JCPenney. So short term, JCPenney looks good, like I was saying yesterday. Long term, I still don't like the company fundamentals. But so I don't know about an investment in JCPenney here, but still from a swing trade perspective, as long as you have an out, the bulls seem to have a little bit of momentum going. Also looking here at two stocks that have been marching for 3 days. It's a 3-day march, man. A lot of stocks. General Motors here. Actually, I guess it's just a 2-day march. But if you consider today, it's trading up a little bit too. It could be a 3-day march. GM broke out 2 days ago from that whole 34 area. Good numbers. Continued to rally yesterday, breaking through 36, got as high as 36.79 before settling at 36.33.
Yeah, 36.79. It's trading 30 cents away from that in the pre-market. We'll keep an eye on that. Get some momentum going. The $37 level had a couple highs there, 37.05 and 37.18. But boy, heck of a move. This thing was trading 33.5.
Yep.
Just back at the on the 28th. So big move here. Keeping an eye on the $37 level if the rally continues.
And Ford also been same thing, marching for a couple of days here. Ford's approaching its 52-week high, though, not too far off of it now. 1768 is the 52-week high. We're trading 1736 this morning, so only about 30 cents away from that all-time high. Can we see that today, there, Joel? Or well, I guess it depends on
You
the
got some,
jobs.
yeah, you got some size kicking around at 1750. I see it
um,
stopped there 2 days in a row. I'm a little far away, but stopped there 2 days in a row. At after it made that 52-week high at 1767. So approaching some resistance here.
Let's look at Tesla here because as much momentum as a lot of these other stocks have had, Tesla has actually stalled here. And you were saying what a tight range for Tesla yesterday. When's the last time Tesla had a 3-point range there, Joel?
I'm not sure. That 173.70 number, that's the all-time high here. That's been protected the last couple days by a double top, 171.50, 171.62. Just kind of don't have an excellent number there. But just that 165 just seems like the level to me. 165.56 was the low on Wednesday. Below that, you could drop into the 160 handle, but just watch this thing another couple days of consolidation here, and you could maybe get that long anticipated decline. It's funny how the Ford and the GM are rallying, along with the Tesla. So you think that eventually the Tesla might dig into some of the market share of some of these companies, but that's not the case.
Seems like just it's all about momentum. This market just continues to be about momentum. Obviously, it's stalled here a little bit for Tesla, but all it would take is to break out through that 173.70, and the momentum would continue. So sometimes you have a few days of pause too. So we'll keep an eye on those levels. Yelp, YELP, breaking out to a new 52-week high here this morning. Just trading over 60.50 now. I think the old 52-week high, what do you got there? 59.35. So that's $60.
Correct.
Key breakout here for Yelp, and it's about a 2-day march here too.
Yep, has the shorts yelping here, that's for sure. 61 is what you hit in the pre-market. Big move for this stock over the last couple days. Gapping up, not sure what the news is, but go down to the former all-time high here at, yesterday's high was 59. You also had a high going back on August 2nd at 59.35.
Let's look at a couple of the top S&P components before the jobs number here in just a couple, about a minute and a half. We'll quickly look at ExxonMobil. It just continues to consolidate here, but it has been trying to form that whole bottom, the 86.5 area. Obviously, yesterday pulled back a little bit. What's your take here? This ExxonMobil looks like it's actually starting to set up to do something.
Yeah, been keeping an eye on that 86.39, been the low of the move. Snuck over 88 yesterday, but they beat it right back down. So keeping an eye on that 88.30 level, that was yesterday's high as resistance. And, crude's been rallying too, and ExxonMobil just has not been able to get off the mat.
That's true. You should look at crude here just briefly before the number too, just because you mentioned it. It was trading up just a little bit here. I think we kissed up over 109. Yeah, we're trading 109.04, so we're up 67 cents. Out of the jobs number here. What's it looking like on crude there?
Looking at the crude back up, kind of been in a bouncy trading range here. You are approaching some resistance. You hit 109.19 today, and you had a couple highs in the high 108. So crude needs to hold this 109 level in order to continue the march. And next major resistance point 110.07, and that was your high on August 29th.
Well, we're going to go to Brent here in about 10 seconds with the numbers. Hopefully Brent's ready to rock. S&P futures bring up the chart. We are bouncing a little here, up 6 points right now. Let's see what's going to happen here in just a second. Muted action so far, not doing anything here. Brent, you got those numbers?
See if he can.
Change in non-farm payrolls for the month of August, worse than expected at 169,000. Economists were looking for 180,000. Also, the July reading was revised sharply lower. A change in the private sector was 152,000. Economists looking for a 180,000 gain there. Manufacturing was strong, 14,000 gain. Economists looking for a 5,000 gain, but the unemployment rate did decline to 7.3%.
And the S&P futures, it's kind of muted action. We've sold off about a buck and a half since those numbers just broke here. It's trying. You often see this. You see it chop around a little bit here, right at the
Nothing.
number.
Nothing.
Yeah, it's
Absolutely nothing.
yeah, it's pretty quiet. Sometimes you see on these jobs when we see a 5, 7 point move. We've had a lot of quiet activity here. It's been a slow, steady climb for a couple days. So the volatility is down right now, and I thought this might spark some volatility here. Maybe it will yet, but right now, pretty muted in response.
I mean, it looked like they tried to take it down there a little bit, but it
Too
just looked
thick.
like the bidders were just lined up there,
Yeah.
and let's see
They're
where
gonna
we
try to rally this thing, I think. It's just too
yeah, a
thick. They
little
tried to take it down. They couldn't take it that way. They're like, oh well, let's try to take it the other way now. Those algo traders out there pushing the stocks around, and now we're up. Now we're rallying here, up seven now. So I guess it was too thick for them to take it down. So they're like, well, heck, we'll try to take it
oh
up
that
then.
was like that was like molasses. It was trying to go down there. Well, I'm looking at it did dip down to
8.5.
16.56 and a
Now we're
quarter.
popping. They
Yeah,
found some air.
yeah.
They found some air here, Joel. They found that vacuum you were talking about up to that 1667 level. Is that where they're going to try to push this thing up to?
I mean, there's nothing in there. When there's
That's what
nothing
they
in there,
decided. They couldn't take it down. They
that's
said, "Oh,
right.
too thick that way. Let's push it up the other way." They're pushing them
Yeah,
around.
not a lot of sellers here. You're gonna get a chance here on the open. Keep an eye on the resistance levels, but 7.3 unenjoyment rate. Market seems to like it.
Well, gold popped on it though. Bring up the chart of gold here because we are now up a buck 55 on the GLD. Gold got a really good pop here on this. Actually up over $10 now on the actual or on the futures contract there. 1383.30 is where it just ticked up to. So gold is getting a lift here on this.
Yeah, I didn't get a chance to hear what Gartman said, so whatever he said, you can pretty much expect the opposite to happen.
Garmin. Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, you did get a spike up there in the gold. Let me check resistance level here. Yesterday's high, we're quite a ways away from that, the $1,400 level. But after trading, as far down as we did today, 1358.80, I expect that $1,400 level to be major resistance if the rally can continue.
Let's look at a couple of the miners just because you're talking with the gold pop here. Barrick Gold just popped up significantly, actually. It was trading down. Bring up the pre-market chart there, Joel. You can just see the
Sure.
pop there from 830. Well, actually, I guess we're
Give me a
waiting on the
second here.
chart.
Yeah,
Yeah, it just
nice
popped
little
up from the
spike.
whole. Yeah, this was trading just around 1920 and just popped up to 1940. But boom, wow, that's bouncing around. That's thin right now. Just traded down to 1913, but did spike up to 1945 right on that jobs number.
Yeah, 1948 was your two-day high, so we'll keep an eye on that level as your resistance point. Another high above that, 1973 and 1989. Coming back on the downside here, nice support forming under 19. Three of the last five sessions, you had lows in the high 1880s and one at 1901. So 19 is the number if you're trying to protect some profits here at ABX on the downside.
Let's look back at a couple of the top S&P components. Microsoft here has basically just been hanging out here for a couple of days, getting a little bit quieter after obviously it's broken down. It is trying to find that support down here in the whole 31 handle. Got down to 30.95 yesterday before bouncing. Is up 14 cents with the overall market right now at 31.38.
Yeah, they have not been able to take it through the double top there, 31.44, 31.47, your last 2 days highs. Perhaps some size first at 31.50 that's keeping a lid on it. But, if Microsoft cannot clear that 31.47 today, I think it can nestle back down into the 30 handle. A couple lows in Microsoft right around 31. 30.95 was yesterday's low. And that's been the low of the move since they announced that Nokia deal, and that's 11 cents above the major low that you had on August 15th.
I got a little bone to pick with Microsoft too. I have my Microsoft mouse here this morning and the batteries died on me. And I'm sitting there trying to get, first of all, I couldn't find any AA batteries. And then I'm sitting there trying to get the batteries out of the dang thing. and I had to actually take a butter knife because the way it's built, you pull on the little string and then they pop up, but they don't pop out enough, so they're like stuck and jammed in there. And I'm trying. I fought with it for 5 minutes trying to get the batteries out of that stupid mouse. That's 5 minutes that I'm never going to get back in my life. So if they were just a mouse producer, I would short them right now. But obviously they got a lot of other products, so
You're
not
looking at
not liking the
you're looking
mouse.
for looking for the revenge trade on
Yeah,
Microsoft.
so maybe I should just put a shirt on here, but that I'll lose on that for sure. Whenever you're trading and you're mad at a company, it always works against you. So don't trade with emotion. So I won't trade Microsoft today. Johnson and Johnson
Oh,
just been
jeez.
consolidating here, Joel. Like it doesn't do this. 86 level was absolutely enormous. I tried to pull back there yesterday, but couldn't quite get down there. 86.62. But wow, that 86 is crazy support.
Yeah, man. That is that 8741 print,
Well,
8745
that's
print.
just popping just because the S&P futures. So 87.45. So yeah, so it might pop out of here. I mean, 40 cents. We're up 8.5 points. I would imagine Johnson Johnson could have that kind of gas. It seems
Yeah,
reasonable.
I've been eyeballing those 8750 weeklies over the last couple days, and I was hoping that to get this thing to open flat, on the day and take a little ride on them. But now opening up 41 cents, I'm sure they'll have the premium jacked up on those. It is clearing a double top it had from Wednesdays and Thursdays high, so maybe get a little pullback here and get an opportunity to buy Johnson and Johnson.
Procter and Gamble, 3 days it's been down here. You were saying it's just kind of leaking here slowly ever since that flash crash that it had back. What was that, Monday or that was Friday? The Friday flash crash when it got all the way down on that New York print. We covered that already, but down to 73.61. It popped up obviously immediately back after, but since then it's been slowly leaking. Maybe that guy did know something. He's got a little ways
I
to
don't
go
know.
before he's going to get the money back from selling that thing down at 73.61 though.
Yeah, TradeStation, still refuses to put that print in there. I was looking at that chart the other
But
day, but
Thinkorswim's got it. I can see it
yeah,
on
yep,
the
they
TOS
do, they
chart there,
do.
that big spike
Keeping
down.
an eye on the last two highs here, 77.63 to 77.75. That's your major resistance here. It breaks above that, should trade in the 78 handle.
Speaking of leaking, the market is starting to leak here too. Joel, they popped it up there to 1663.5. We just fell back 5 points. We're right back to where we started before the number was released. So I guess they're moving this. The chop did happen. It just happened going up there, and we took all the way up there to 1663, and now they've come right back down.
Keeping an eye, the dip on the initial number took us down to 1656. So still keeping an eye on that. 56 and a quarter. Which is actually still low on this 15-minute bar here. So there's your support for the remainder of the day.
That's our show for today, guys. Have a great trading day. Have a great weekend. We'll be back at you on Monday.